Odododio seemed to be one fleeting constituency for you, or one constituency which you are never able to catch up with as MPP. You may have done once or twice, but it's always a difficult constituency for you. What's the problem with Odododio?
Well, I think that the NDC really appreciated the politics of Odododio probably more than art. And let me explain why. As the people are very vivacious, quite active, and the NDC plays to their minds and emotions all the time. Whilst we go there and talk about development, if you compare NDC track record as against NPP track record in Odododio, I mean, it's so clear. Currently, as we speak now, the NDC had been in office for 8 years. There was nothing to show in Odododio. I mean, if they have something to show, they could say it. But we've been in office for barely 3.5 years. There's a reconstruction of the Jamestown Fishing Harbour, which was relocated to Tema way back in 1965. And the harbour was the bedrock of the local economy of Accra. And once it was relocated to Tema, that was a major contributory factor to our poverty situation in Accra, because everybody relies on the activities at the fishing harbour. Then again, the Salaga market, which is the only fish market we have in Accra, for over 25 years, which it was abandoned. As I speak to you now, under the $1 million one constituency project, the Salaga market, over 30% construction had been done and is ongoing, and many other projects. The Usher Polyclinic has gotten a facelift in there. The Bukom Square, which the famous Bukom Square, where almost every footballer had played football there. You know, it used to have stones underground which looks like spikes, and everybody that kicks ball over there might have been hurt one way or the other, including my good self. Today we've seen an AstroTurf at Bukom Square, which is totally different, because our players want to play football in Europe and elsewhere, and yet you are training on a Sakura Park. How do you compete over there? So that's that major developmental push in Odododio that I can beat my chest that never in the history of the Fourth Republic that we have seen such a significant development over there.
Is a Bukom boxing arena in Odododio or Ablekuma South?
Well, it's on the border.
So would you say that what you have listed now surpasses what was left by the NDC in the Bukom boxing arena?
The Bukom boxing arena, it's not a government of Ghana project. It's a SNIT project.
Yeah, but there was a government that has to take a credit for it at any point. Of course,
I mean, then everything by every private company, everybody has to take credit for it.
You are taking credit for VW constructing cars or assembling cars in Accra, so that should be
the credit. The credit being taken by government on that, it's part of a major government policy of promoting the use of brand new cars.
I'm sure it's the same thing the opposition party will say. But my point is that, so if you're listing these things, remember that there's a boxing arena. I have not. What's the name of the one near the Tema station? Is it hockey? It is
the hockey pitch.
Yes,
the hockey pitch is in Klotikoli.
Okay, so I'm just mentioning generally things.
The hockey pitch is in Klotikoli, and which was given a facelift. What I'm saying is that, in terms of development, our party and our government philosophy is to bring development to the people.
Okay.
And do not intend to keep the people in perpetual poverty and play on their minds and their emotions and use them as electoral tools.
So you think you develop Odododio better as MPP?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Tell me if this will translate into votes, you think?
So that's what we are working on now. Because, as I indicated earlier, whilst you're talking about development and pointing at things that you have done, your opponent will also be looking at other things and be talking about how to fight people, how to get people angry, and taking advantage of some of these things, the poverty situation there, the illiteracy rate over there, and then be promoting all kinds of bad things. And these are things that does not sink to our orientation. We are not good at doing so. So you either have to learn of doing those bad things to win votes, or push hard to get the people change their mind, to let them appreciate development, that you put us in office to develop the communities. And that is the message. So it's taking us a bit of time to get the people to appreciate some of these things.
But if you develop, it should be natural. I should know that there's a boxing arena or Bukom Square that has been done for me. So for this reason, I should go for the Elephant. If beyond all these things, you still have to go and convince and explain to the people that, look, you have to vote for us, and someone can use something else to defeat you, then it means you haven't really done well, have you?
Well, I'm saying that in political dynamics, it doesn't work that way, because you may have done something which you think it is right, but someone will sit there and ask himself, look, I don't play football, so what is the need for me? Or my need now, it's like, I'm hungry, I need food today. So all the things that you are asking us to do, to go to school, free SHS, planting for food and jobs, and all the good things that you are talking about, it's a work in progress, and it will take a bit of time for me to earn a living.
Okay.
I need money today. So what do I get today?
I'm mindful of the fact that we have several GAN constituencies.
Sure.
But would you agree that Ododo Diodio is perhaps the richest GAN constituency, i.e. is the only constituency which is predominantly GAN? And that if this constituency has often swung towards the NDC, then there's a likelihood that GAN people by nature are NDC. Would that be a fair analysis? I'm tapping into your knowledge of your own ethnic group and the region.
No, not at all. I mean, that's over the years, Ododo constituency is getting more diluted. If you go to a place like Teshi, you have, heavy numbers of GAN people. In fact, the voter population of Lejikuku is bigger than the voter population even of Ododo Diodio, which part of it is the central business district where people come to trade there and go away.
But you would agree that Lejikuku, other areas like Spintex and so on, may not necessarily.
But the numbers are in the coastal towns.
Okay.
That's where the numbers are. So you can get a lot of the numbers there. Lada de Kotopons to get a lot of the GAN numbers there, and then Ndungwa.
So it's not a fair statement to make at all.
Not at all. You have to look. There are some constituencies along the coast that you may agree with me that because of the heavy GAN population there, it seems to be swinging all the time. And it is not only Ododo Diodio. You have to use Krowo, Lejikuku, Lada de Kotopon, Klote Kole to some extent, and then Ododo Diodio. So these are the 5 constituencies. You may say that Tema, but Tema, there's a lot of GAN people there, but Tema, it's very cosmopolitan. Very, very cosmopolitan.
The closest you can get is Tema East, which is maybe a bit more.
Yeah, Tema Newtown, where you can get quite a number of GAN people, but there's a lot of Dangbe and then our population there because it's close to the sea, and these ethnic tribes also, their activities are mainly fishing, so you have a lot of non-GANs also.
I know as politicians you may not admit to failures here and there, but are there constituencies that as a governing party you're scared of losing?
Well, as I speak to you now, certainly there may be a few constituencies that will have a challenge, but the election is not today. It's scheduled for 7 December 2020.
It's 2 months away, 2.5 months.
It's 2.5 months away. One day can make a difference in politics.
Can that one day be different because of money that has been given to the voters? Because you can't develop a constituency in a day.
It could be several things. I think your opponent can make a huge statement which could be, people can take advantage of it and swing votes about it. I mean, just a couple of days ago, I've been reading about candidate John Mahama talking about constructing mortuaries for in the Muslims communities. I mean, that is not on for Muslims. So,
are you sure you are a Muslim?
Of course I am.
You know Muslims don't like their corpses kept in morgues.
Yes.
You know that.
So that's not a priority.
So if
you're also a Muslim and you know that's not a priority.
Yeah, but if you listen to what he said, because whether you like it or not, Muslim corpses will be sent to the morgue before they are taken away. So during that period, he's saying that they should be treated with some level of Islamic rights or whatever it is. If you listen to him,
that's a standard practice in every morgue. That's a standard practice in every morgue. The point is that, what is your priority? As a priority for Muslim communities to build mosques for them, or to provide them with education, employment, capacity building? That's what you mean. But you don't have a lot of resources.
Death is a constant in every community.
Of course, death is
and you know how Islam holds death highly. It's one of the key things that are considered. So if he says he's going to provide facilities for Muslims to, bury their dead or keep their dead, that shouldn't be a problem.
And you know very well that as a Muslim, your corpse may not lie down for more than 24 hours.
Yes.
Until there's something happening, or maybe the person died in the night, then we have to make sure that we bury the person the following morning. There are some tribes that even they do bury in the evening.
In the night. Let's not digress. Tell me why Greater Accra should swing for more for Nana.
Well, I think that in terms of accounting to the people, what we have done for the good people of Greater Accra is enough. Greater Accra is a cosmopolitan and the capital of Ghana, and every effort that we have made in developing this nation, Greater Accra has gotten its fair share of it. That's number one. Number two, in terms of infrastructure development, we've also done so well.
Not as well as NDC did.
Like what?
Not as well as NDC did.
So you want us to compare?
Yeah, I'm just asking.
No, of course.
If we talk about infrastructure development, yes. If the NDC wants to match you boot for boot in a debate, when yes. they point to Ridge Hospital, when they point to the Circle Interchange, when they point to the hospitals they have in Shaiwo, Sudoku, for instance, at Dodoa, at Gan East, and all of these places, Medina, what would you point to as MPP?
Well, I've been pointing to a lot of things as
they'll
well.
Point to the Ablekuma
Of course, they'll point
Road.
To, when they point to...
They'll point to the Pokwasi Interchange. They'll point to the...
How would they point to the Pokwasi Interchange?
They left it behind. It was under construction before.
It wasn't under construction.
It wasn't? What would you point to when they point to these things?
So that point is very fair. It's not that it wasn't under construction.
They left it behind.
Same as whatever. You see, government is a continuous, and the point also is that you ask yourself, yes, NDC did the Circle Interchange, and yet they lost, because when you are in Accra, you are not just looking at the infrastructure. The people of Accra, they are enlightened enough to know that it's a taxpayers' money that you are investing. So they want value for money. And when you overprice the cost of construction and claim that I have done this for you, the people will vote you out.
Yeah, but if you claim that there has been overpricing and after 4 years you have not prosecuted a single person successfully for overpricing or sent any company home, but instead Queiroz Galvao, which did the Circle Interchange, you've contracted them to do another project, then you have no moral standing to be making statements about overpricing. Instead, they'll ask you to point to hard facts. What did you do instead?
So let me respond to that. You know, in government, and it's not like running a private sector company. In government, there's a procedure to follow. And that's what a lot of government officials had done over the past. So long as you have followed the procedure and lead to the award of the contract, whatever that comes out from it, whether overpricing and all the things that have come out from it, you're unable to prosecute the person as a result of that.
Why?
And that's a standard fact. And that's why it's becoming a major challenge for the prosecution of a lot of people.
What prevents you?
You know, so as you move on, and you make that comparison, and then you looked at places like the Obeche-Bilante interchange, which is also under construction. You've looked at the Pokwasi interchange, which is under construction, and you've looked at also the motorway, Tema motorway interchange that has also been constructed, and you looked at the value as compared to even those ones that you claim that they left for us. You will ask yourself, how come that they might have gone to negotiate for a construction of a 3-tier interchange at Pokwasi, but we have come and renegotiated it for a 4-tier and expanded even the road network to it? What happened?
So if the infrastructure agreement is put on the table and NDC lists what they have done in Greater Accra. From Adan to Weija, from Accra to Amasama.
There's a conscious effort to even provide infrastructure in every community. One point is that the central government has set up development authorities, provided them with funds to make sure that you provide development to the communities for the needs that they have. So needs assessment have been done, and if they claim that they want a market, you provide market for them.
You're referring to the Coastal Development Authority?
Of course, that's
what have they done?
I'm listing all the things that I mentioned here. They were done by the Coastal Development.
So even the
Odudu, the Salaga market, which is costing over 20 million Ghana cedis.
It's
Koda.
Okay.
The AstroTurf, which they constructed at the Bukum Park, is Koda. Same is being done at the Manchagona Park, is Koda. So the list can go on and on and on. They've constructed roads also in the Okankwe South with their money. When it comes to Ablekuma South, they are about constructing the bridge that links the Choko to Dansoman. You recall that there was a bridge which was there. The rain brought it down.
Is it a floating bridge?
And then Madam Eslausu, through his effort, brought a floating bridge. But
which was washed away.
No, our information is that there were people who were making money out of it, and they didn't like the floating bridge. So the matter was reported at the police, and it's still under investigation.
How?
People were apprehended.
You think people? Okay, so you suspect that people tampered with the bridge?
Of course, Jerry Ahmed Shaib, who is a lawyer and the chief executive for Coastal Development Authority, made a formal complaint to the police on that. People were apprehended. And then the matter is still
what did they do? They untied the rope holding the bridge.
Of course, that's what he did.
That's how can the bridge disappeared?
That's what I'm told he did.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
What do you know about the Marine Drive? I've heard so much about it. What is happening to the Marine Drive?
Well, the Marine Drive, for me, it's one major project that would have changed the whole development landscape of Accra. If you look at Accra, because it used to be, during the colonial times, it used to be a location where you have the slave masters and the forts. The development of Accra was not facing the sea. The back of Accra was facing the sea. And in any modern development in civilized or Western countries, you will appreciate that the beachfront is the most prime. Meanwhile, our back is rather facing. So the essence of the Marine Drive is to change this development paradigm and make sure that we'll be facing the sea.
So we utilize the sea.
Exactly.
So beautification agenda.
It is not just beautification. It's to provide infrastructure and to make our city more modern.
Okay. And
take advantage of the beachfront. Okay. To make sure that. As far as I know, at the moment, the land has been given out to private developers, because that's the whole concept. The concept is that it's not government that is providing the funding. It's a government land, and the government is allocating the land to developers. And the developers are giving timelines to make sure you develop. Because we've learned from the development of the airport city. The airport city development was started without giving developers timelines. So as I speak to you now, there are still uncompleted buildings at Airport City. That shouldn't be.
Okay.
So we're learning from the Marine Drive, and that has been done. They have cleared the place as I speak to you now. All the government properties that were, the government offices that were on the property there has been moved to the Ghana House. So the land, it's now lying fallow.
Okay.
For development to commence.
This is Face to Face on City TV. My name is Umaru Sandamadu. My guest is the Metropolitan Chief Executive for Accra, Mohamed Ni Ajay Sowa. We are having a conversation generally on the Greater Accra